So we were talking about this prior, like in our prior conversations about the high intensity training, right? And when I
Right,
read
right,
those
right.
blog posts, you were talking about how you'd crush like 2 times a day, you'd be on a boat cruise, and you were still crushing like 2 workouts a day. And I was thinking, okay, so last time we spoke, you talked about this transition to high intensity training. That must have been after your competitive natural bodybuilding career. Is that correct?
No, no, dude.
Oh,
I was doing high intensity when I was 24 years old. I was like 5'10", 215 pounds lifting in one set per body part, going nuts.
so that's right, because you did mention that out of college, you was when you came across the books, right?
Yes, yes.
So where do I
That was
have
huge.
maybe I read that wrong then with the 2 times a day. Was that like the cardio stuff?
A lot of cardio. There was a phase where I heard, hey, listen, you're not overtraining, you're just under eating. And I started going crazy with going into the high volume. What a stupid move, man. I was shredded, but didn't make any gains.
Okay. You did the high intensity, got sucked back into the high volume, and then back to the high intensity.
Back to the high intensity.
Right. Okay. That's actually
Yeah.
common. I also experienced that as well, where you
Yeah.
kind of
More is better, right?
right now, what is that looking like right now? Because you're not trying to compete, you're not trying to do all that, but you look incredible. You look like you
Right.
could. So let's talk about where are you at currently, and has it changed from the last time we spoke, which was over a year ago, I want to say, since we spoke last. So talk about where you're at with your training. What's that
Okay.
looking like? How often?
Right.
All that good stuff.
Okay. So on Wednesday, I'll head into this garage gym and I'll do a set of chest flies with the dumbbells. Yeah. And if I told you this thing, it'd be stupid. I do like 36 reps on chest flies because I don't have a lot of weight for it. So that's what I do. Second set, I'll load up the my body with some plates and I'll do a chin up, one set of chin ups for 11 reps till failure. Then my third set, I'll do 30 pounds on the side laterals seated and I'll get as many as I can. That's the third exercise. Next exercise, I'll do overhead tricep extensions. Then I'll do a set of preacher curls. And then I'll do a set of leg extensions, a set of hamstring curls, and a set of calves, and I'm done my workout.
Ooh, full body.
Full body. And then on
Nice.
Saturday, I changed it up a little bit. Instead of doing arms, I do shrugs. Wow. And I don't do I don't do biceps, I don't do triceps. Sometimes I'll throw in a shoulder press with the dumbbells and I'm done. The workouts take 20 minutes. What I'm realizing more and more so is it's nailed the recovery. If you can nail the recovery, get in the sun, get your vitamin D, knock down the nutrition, train till failure, and really minimize the training, it's probably I've never felt better, dude.
That's amazing. That's two
It
times a
just
week now, right?
two times a week. It's two times full body, but it's almost like Mickey Mouse exercises. And again, somebody will see me and say, well, of course, you're scrawny, or hey, Tom, you actually look pretty good. I don't put a lot of effort into it. If I were to compete again, I think I'd have a training partner with maybe some heavier weights and have that person take me a little bit further in each of those sets. I think that's the only thing I do differently. And I'm pretty sure I would do very well on stage. And I'm guaranteed I'd come in shredded.
Right.
But more is not better.
So you decreased your frequency from 3 to 2, but you decided to keep the frequency per body part still at 2 times per week. So basically, one set to failure. And you mentioned this Mickey Mouse exercises, but really what you mean is the fact that you don't have the load to,
Right.
because
Exactly.
the high rep stuff is like,
Exactly.
it becomes a little bit like Mickey Mouse because you're like, okay, did I hit failure? Did I just give up? Chances are you didn't because you have the mindset, but more so like cardiovascular. Like there's many variables that start to play into role with the high rep stuff, obviously, which you know.
Sure. Exactly. So when you take a look at it, the dumbbells are 52 and a half pounds. That's all I've got. I don't choose to belong to a gym. I just not into that scene. I'm not interested in buying weights anymore. So that's what I use. But there's something to be said about squeezing the muscles. Instead of lifting the weights, you're actually contracting the muscles. Time under tension. I listened to Martin Daniels' podcast and I
Hmm.
remember him talking about doing 3-minute leg press sets. So I figured, hey, you know what? Let me go a good full minute with this set. Let me squeeze the muscles. Let me go until failure, but with a lower load. Dude, you've got to be focused. It's exhausting. We say Mickey Mouse, but the truth is, when you're doing it that way,
It's
it
another
works.
animal. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
another animal entirely, the high rep stuff. You've got to be a bit of a psychopath
I
to do
think
this
so.
like 30 reps
Yeah.
to failure or whatnot versus like a set of five. It's like, you know where you are.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
tried doing a just for fun, just to see what I could do. I did a barbell curl with 155 pounds. I think it was 155 pounds for 10 reps. I cheated a little bit. right? I lifted weights. I didn't contract the muscle. I was just lifting. I was doing Arnold kind of lifts. I'm going, shoot, man, I'm still strong. But I didn't feel it as much as doing that concentrated effort where I was really squeezing the muscles. And I said, which one's better for me? I think the slower contractions, the lighter weight, just really squeezing. I think that's the better approach. It's the smarter approach. When you're 50 and you can tear something, it's a better approach.
Okay, yeah. So that's interesting. Again, speaking to your age, where you're at now in your career, the injury history, that's where this high rep stuff can have real value.
Yeah, and this is what I always say. I don't like debating people on any of this, whether it's
Yeah.
high intensity, lower intensity, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 3 days a week. Bottom line is, try it for yourself. Do it for 12 weeks, record everything. And if you've got objective data that says that you were making improvements, good on you, man.
That's it. I like
What's the
that.
point of debating this shit? Like,
No,
just do it. Just do it and see for yourself.
that's it. That's it right there. That's it right there. So yeah, going back to these full body workouts now, how long you been running that, by the way?
Since the injury,
Since the injury. And
since last year for 1 year.
what made you want to switch? Like what sparked that thought? Was it the injuries and then you thought, man, I'm just going to do everything and whatever I can do, I can do. And it ended up being a full workout kind of thing?
Man, it's just like, it's so convenient. It's so convenient. And to be able to recover from the injury so fast and have it just work and then really focus on the recovery bit. I said, you know what, maybe this works better. I
Mm.
don't know. But I'll tell you what, it's nice to have the rest of my days. Dude, I don't love weight training. Sorry, I'm not one of those guys who loves the pain of training. I don't care to look at myself in the mirror. I've got no mirrors in the gym. It's just get it done and walk out and enjoy my life. That's it, right? It's a means to an end. That's it.
Do you love the feeling after when you're finished?
Dude, getting pumped up is a nice
Yeah,
feeling.
the
Like,
endorphins and like
yeah,
you're like,
oh
I just
yeah, oh
conquered.
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah. It's funny. I'll look in the mirror and go, shoot, man, am I ever scrawny? And then I'll see myself in a mirror a distance away and like, holy shit, am I ever jacked? Look at that, right? Mirrors play tricks on you, but it's nice to look at yourself and like yourself. And I think a lot of people have dysmorphia. And I did at one point. Now it's kind of like, hey, it is what it is. It looks good. I like it. Great. I hope everyone feels that way.
What do you have to say to those who want that same feeling that they would get after a workout, the endorphins? And they're like, well, Tom, man, I need those endorphins from the workout. How are you only training twice per week? What is that? What do you have to say to those people? How do you get it outside of just the workouts?
Oh man, the endorphins, like I don't know, man. I don't know. Take up another sport. You can definitely get endorphins doing jujitsu or whatever sport, tennis, pickleball, hockey, whatever. If your bodybuilding addiction is serving you
Hmm.
and you're making money from it, it's not taking away from your life, keep doing what you're doing. If it's helping your mental health, keep doing what you're doing. I get it. If that's something you need and you're progressing and life is good and you're balanced, keep doing what you're doing. I commend you. I respect that. I used to be a gym rat. If that's what it is, go for it.
Do you think that it gets to a certain point where, like for you, let's talk about your transition here, where you realized, okay, I got all I needed out of it when I was the gym rat, basically. And I'm going to focus on other aspects of my life to elevate the quality of my life. Like you mentioned, you're building
Right.
businesses. There's more to life than just gym, right? And sometimes people can be stuck in a negative relationship with training, but they don't even realize it until it's like, man, they just 10 years is gone and they didn't do anything else other than just gym. You get where I'm going with this?
Totally. Totally.
Okay.
Where do I start? Kenny, if I were extremely successful financially and I had everything else going on in my life, I had other passions, and I didn't look the way I do right now, I'd be miserable. Okay. Part of the package, part of being the total package to the best of my ability is having it all. I want a wife that I love and care for, that we have great I have that. I have incredible kids where we talk every day. My wife's parents are now my parents. They're just the best parents around. Love seeing them. I live in a beautiful community. I've got tons of friends. I'm active. I love my life. But if I didn't look the way I did, something's missing. It's like three wheels on a car are working really well, but the other one's a flat tire. Guess what? The car is not going anywhere. So for me, this is essential. This is part of it. It has to be this way. So from that standpoint, there's no gaining 5 pounds of body fat. That's not going to happen unless there's a means to an end that's going to help me gain some muscle, right? That's not going to happen. This has to be the norm. The physique that you saw is the norm. That's the way it is. Anything less, and I'll be a miserable dude. Just like, that's not me.
And that's why you will
Now,
continue to train no matter what, even though you don't
exactly,
necessarily like training from a
exactly.
frequency standpoint, right? Yeah.
Exactly. But I will tell you this though.
Mm.
I think of some of the guys that go to the gym. Think about it. You're wearing a tank top or let's say a muscle shirt. You pump up, you look at yourself in the mirror, and it looks friggin' awesome. Mirrors all around. You command the respect of everybody in the gym. You are now on the top of the totem pole. That's addictive, man. And if you've got nothing else going for you but that, that's enough to draw you in every single time. And
Right.
then there's some young bucks who will take the steroids, and now it's even more pronounced. Everyone notices you. Like, I've never done steroids, never done TRT, never. Maybe I will do TRT in 15 years. Who knows? I don't think I need it now. Maybe in 15 years I will, but to each their own. But the moment somebody does that and gains another 15 pounds, and now they're the talk of the gym, and now they're just shredded, they look unbelievable. That's addictive, man. They've become addicts of their physique. And if they're balanced and they're doing everything else well, again, more power to you. Good on you. But if you lose that balance and you're irritable to be around and you're not making money and you're not doing good things in the world, you spend most of your time in the gym and you're miserable, and you've got issues.
You got to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. Like, because, I think about, I see, obviously I saw the picture and then I think, yeah, this guy loves to train for sure. But then you think, whoa, well, not necessarily. He just loves the work, putting in the work, and then the result after from putting in that work, right? And to know that you don't have to be a slave to it, especially because I'm sure there's many listening that maybe share that feeling that you have, right? Where they're more so, they enjoy with the feeling afterwards, what they look like, the result of it, right? But they don't
Yep.
necessarily want to go and grind out set after set and get to that place, that dark place, right? Every time, especially if you got to do that 5 times a week. No, I need to put that energy into like something that's more productive for my life and building the quality of my life. Knowing that you can do this efficiently and get the result that you have, but do it less so you can attribute some of that energy into what makes maybe more sense. That is where it's at. That's what I start thinking, right?
Yeah, big time, big time. But you take a look at the bodybuilding magazines back in the 86, 87, I saw Lee Haney and Gary Stradum and all these guys, and they had amazing physiques. To me, they're better physiques than what I see now on stage in the pro ranks.
For
Chris
sure.
Bumstead looks like the guys like Lee Haney and Lee Labrada and all those guys. He still has that aesthetic look, but boy, did they ever say more is better, because when
Yeah.
you bought the bodybuilding magazines, that was the social media of the day. 3/4 of the magazine was advertisements for nutritional products. More is better. You need to fuel your workouts. And that was the big push. And I think people just were brainwashed by that. Like, this is the way to do it. More is better. And by the way, buy Weeder products and you'll maintain this body and you'll be able to train harder. And I don't think it's ever gone away.
No, no. And it always excites me when I hear someone of your caliber and they talk about how they train maybe 2 or 3 times per week at most. And then I think, now that excites me because I can get to a point where I can look that good, right? And then attribute all that energy into building a business, spending time with a family, doing
Yeah.
other things, right? And
Yeah.
still love going to the gym and have the energy to really actually push yourself. That's another thing that people forget. It's like, do you actually have the energy and the excitement to go and do it? Like, if you are that person who does enjoy it, right? I enjoy it more now that I do it less because I'm not dragging my feet, right?
Yeah, but that's you and I looking at it from our perspective. There's other people
True.
who go in and their whole mantra is, I'm a soldier. Like, me doing this makes me feel mentally tough, right? Or you look at Ironman athletes, you take a look at some of these guys doing CrossFit, they thrive on the challenge. And I respect that. That's great. If you're going to be doing 10 sets of 1,000 pounds on the leg press and you can do that and you feel amazing afterwards because it's a sense of accomplishment, all the power to you. To me, that's a strain on the joints and it's a waste of time, to
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah.
it's only me.
Well, guess what? Sharing your experience, maybe you come across somebody who's got an open mind to this type of conversation and you change someone's life, right? That's how it happened for me. So, you think about it from that way and you think, okay, it's important sometimes to share these experiences because not that you were never going to, you have been for years, but it's just, you think, wow, there's value in that versus I'm only looking at science. That's the other thing we were talking about last time. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, you got to look at personal experiences too, because maybe you're going to come across an idea or something someone says and something that someone has gone through and it could really help you, right?
Oh yeah, big time. I take a look at some people who will see my TikTok post, for example, and I'll give an example with the pickleball world. Somebody will say, "Pickleball changed my life." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "If I wasn't playing pickleball every day, I'd be drinking.
Mm.
I'm a struggling alcoholic who I play pickleball in place of it." And I take a look at somebody who goes to the gym 6, 7 times a week, and they go, "Tom, you don't understand. If I didn't train every day at the gym and get the camaraderie at the gym, I'd be doing something really stupid at home." And that's when I think you got to look at it and go, it's not about science. It's about, hey, you're a human being. Like, keep doing what you're doing, man. This is good. This is good.
Let's talk about now, like you mentioned this whole muscle building thing. Do you really think you're putting on any muscle at this point, aside from maybe regaining lost muscle at 54?
I'll tell you what, most of my lifts right now, I'm not getting any stronger. Like, do I
Okay.
think that with the chin ups, do I think I can get another rep this month? Yes. Do I think I can get another rep after that the next month? Yes. Do I think I can put on some muscle now that my son's here spotting me for the next couple of months? I think it's possible. And I do want to touch on this. When you take a look at the vitamin D from the sun, living in Costa Rica, and you have that soaking into your body and you have that recuperation, I'm not stressed at all. I'm relaxing. I sleep when I want. If I'm feeling tired, I'll hit the sack for 30 minutes and I'll wake up completely energized. I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning going, okay, let's go. Let's go. I feel amazing, right? When you have everything optimized and you dial in your nutrition, you dial in your protein, and my wife's a registered massage therapist, so she'll massage out my legs. I've got the compression boots. I've got the TENS therapy. I do it all. So if all that's missing now is maybe some heavier weights and I've got a spotter, can I put on some muscle? I believe I can. I think the best me is still possible. So I'm going to say, do I want to dabble in that? I don't know, maybe. I think anyone at my age with those optimized conditions can maybe gain some muscle. Maybe it's 2 pounds a year. Do you think 2 pounds of lean muscle mass is a difference? Absolutely.
Absolutely. The reality is that if your strength is going up, like you were talking about, and it's not lost strength that you're just regaining, and you're tapping into some new territory, I mean, there's a real good chance you're putting on muscle, even like you mentioned, even if you are in your 50s, right?
Right. I'll pump up afterwards and I'll see myself in the, when I do a proper pump up. So after the
Yeah.
workout, I'll do a couple of exercises with the bands just to see. And I'm not talking about on a regular basis. I'll do it like once every couple months just to see what the physique looks like totally pumped up. And Kenny, it's actually scary good. Like from my standpoint, it's like, I don't think I ever looked maybe any better. Well, obviously a little bit less lean, but in terms of the sheer volume of the muscles, it's like, I'm happy with this, right? So I do think it's possible. I do think it's possible in your 50s as long as everything is completely optimized, right? I think anytime you've got the stress of work, the nutrition isn't totally dialed in, you don't quite get the best sleep, you got to take your kids to soccer, you've got financial stressors. I think that really chips away at you. And it's not about the weight training. You're only as strong as your weakest link in the chain. And all of those chains are vital to making progress.
Right.
But optimized. If you watch like Rocky 4 and you had Rocky kind of getting this primitive workout and you had Drago with the scientists all around him and all that kind of stuff, like that was figuratively optimized. I think if you optimized everything, I could take Siobhan Cunningham or I could take somebody like, let's say, Philip Ricardo. And if they were to stay in my community and work out with me, their workouts, but like just knock it down. They don't have to worry about food or anything. They don't have to worry about work. I guarantee you they'd have their best versions of them within a year. The number one thing is sleep. We can talk about getting the compression boots on. We can talk about massage therapy. We can talk about ice baths. We can talk about all of that. But if you can get in a proper bedtime, a proper waking time, a restful sleep, and maybe potentially a nap throughout the day, there's nothing more recharging than that. If you have a problem with your training and your recovery, address that first. Go to bed at 10 o'clock if 10 o'clock is deemed appropriate for you. Wake up at 6, you've got your 8 hours. Keep the temperature of your room controlled. Keep the lights dim. get a quality sleep. There's nothing more rejuvenating than that. There's the fighter, the guy that beat Conor McGregor, the wrestler from Upper Russia. What's his name again? Khabib.
Okay.
Khabib, UFC champion, would train 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day. He'd sleep like 3 times a day. He says the best recovery is sleep. You want to recover and continue training, get your sleep in. And no one's a master at their sleep. I'm becoming more of a master at my sleep. That's the number one. You want to recuperate, get your sleep down.
Give a sample now, like a day in the life right now, so people know what you're speaking to. So let's talk about your optimal schedule.
Okay, so I'll wake up just before 5:15. The alarm's set for 5:15. I have an internal clock that wakes me up before that. I'll wake up, I'll get some sun immediately. I'll go outside, get some sun, just play with the dogs for 5-10 minutes, and then I'll have breakfast. It's bacon and eggs. It's every day bacon and eggs. That's what I do. 4 pieces of bacon, 4 eggs. I have my water, I have my coffee, and then I'm off to pickleball. I'm either doing a clinic Tuesday, Thursday, or I'm training Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Come home, have a coffee, chat with my wife, go on the computer, do a little bit of work. And then the real work starts. I work for 2-3 hours, and then I'll put in a training session if it's my day, Wednesday or Saturday. If it's not my day, now I'm twiddling my thumbs. Okay, now I'm learning personal development, playing chess, reaching out to people, doing more work. I'm a workaholic. Hop in the pool, chat more with my wife, play more with the dogs, right? Get onto a podcast with you.
Nice.
And then I skip lunch. I don't have lunch.
Yeah,
I have dinner.
no
I have a
lunch.
big dinner. No lunch.
Okay.
No lunch. Just
Is that a thing like older people do? Because the more older people I talk to, they tend to skip lunch. So it's like they makes them sleepy especially if it's a warm lunch.
dude, I'm just lazy. I have
Okay.
all the time
You're
in the
not
world. I'm just lazy. I
you're not
just
that
don't make
old.
it.
Yeah.
I know, I
Okay.
know. So, you know what? I'll do something on the barbecue 1 time out of 10. My wife is the best wife on the planet. She'll make me dinner, and she'll prepare everything. She's so good. After that, we'll just chill out, play some chess, chat it up a little bit, and I'll go to bed. I'll go to bed early because the
What
day
time?
was so long. Honestly, depends on how active I am. I'm going to say 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Wow. And the latest?
Understand, maybe 10. I'll tell you why. It's extremely hot here. The heat is extremely exhausting. Going out and playing 2 hours of any kind of sport, jiu-jitsu was extremely draining. I might go back to jiu-jitsu. Like very, very draining. In the heat, you lose a lot of electrolytes. You got to be careful out here. The temperatures are like, I'm going to say sometimes 39, 40 degrees Celsius plus the humidity. It's brutal. Where I live, it's brutal. Constantly hot. And we have sunlight. The sun goes down at 6. So it's kind of like you need to wake up early to enjoy the day. So you're exhausted by 9 o'clock. Yeah.
So you want to get to bed early because you're up so early. So it's not like you're
Yeah.
going to bed. Like some people, they'll go to bed late, wake up early, and then be exhausted. It's like no wonder why your training sucks and you can't make progress, right?
And that's 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. And these are usually the people training like 5 days a week too, on top of it, which is
Shoot,
even
I don't
more
know how they
ridiculous.
do it, man. I don't know how
I,
they do it. Yeah, a 25-year-old is going to do it well. Sure,
true.
of course they're 25 versus 40. There's a big difference in your recovery rate.
Juice, even 25 versus 30, I'm feeling it. Like I used to go to a club and then the next day train, like after being out all night. I don't even
Oh
know how I
yeah.
did it.
Oh yeah.